Hello guys, welcome back to Total Football Talk. So as always, we're going to look at all of this news and transfer news coming out of Manchester United. Obviously, I've talked about in my previous video the shambles that was last night. We were awful. The manager wasn't great. He made some poor decisions, but the team that he should put out should have been able to win. They didn't. Um, you know, this is what he had to say in regards to the match last night. I think the players spoke really well about what they want today. I just want to apologize to our fans. Something has to change, and you're not going to change the 22 again, as in 22 players. Ruben Amorim speaks with Gabriel Clark after the Grimsby defeat on ITV. Is that a sign of resignation? Is that a manager who's give up on the fight? Is that a manager who is now looking at these players and just wondering, are they capable of the fight? Are they capable of turning this club around? This oil tanker that's going in the wrong direction, can they somehow find a way to maneuver it into a position where it's actually going forward in the right direction? I actually don't know now. It was a tough night for Ruben Amorim. I don't like the way he carried away when penalties were being taken, because us fans didn't. We all were glued and watching and praying, but kind of in the back of our minds, probably already knowing what was going to happen. I didn't like that. A manager's got to be able to stand there and he's got to be able to watch it and take it on the chin with the players, but he didn't, which was extremely disappointing. And he also made mistakes. He brought in Onana. Tom Heaton should have played. Bender should have played. Anyone should have played. I would have been a bloody better goalkeeper, and I'm played in a few months, but my God, I think I would have saved the first shot. I'm not saying I would have made the second one, but I don't think I would have made the mistakes that Onana did. Absolutely horrific. But yeah, those comments coming from the manager, there've been a few more since. Can he survive this, I suppose, is the question. Do you want to keep him? My question to you good people out there is, do you want to keep Ruben Amorim? Should he go? Is his time up? Do we need another change? Can Ineos afford to get rid of him? Can they just go, no, we've done this with Ten Hag, backed him, give him a few games, then bend him? Are we going to do the same again? Can Ineos survive this? Because the Glazers still ultimately own the club. Ineos have made some decisions. Dan Ashworth with the poor decision. Dave Brailsford, was that another poor decision? Because he's not there anymore. Bringing in, sort of bringing in Ruben Amorim halfway through a season. Can they do that again? Would they do that again? Would they sacrifice another season for another change? I actually don't know if they can do it. I don't know if they will do it. I don't even know if they can afford to do it. There's a lot of ways to look at this. But get your thoughts in below. Do you what do you want to see? What do the fans want to see out there? Let me know your thoughts. And this was coming in from Stephen Wilson from the MEN. The optimism within Manchester United squad has evaporated after these 3 games, with Ruben Amorim already feeling the pressure. I mean, I'm not surprised Ruben's feeling the pressure, because he came in with a lot of sort of enthusiasm, and he was a man who looked like he was fresh and ready for the fight. And unfortunately, like every other manager that's come in before him, Mourinho, Solskjaer, Van Gaal, they've all been David Moyes. Well, maybe David Moyes didn't quite get to this particular stage, but they've all turned from men who are kind of looking fresh to men who are completely just drawn, and everything's drawn out of them because they're gone. This club has sucked the life out of them and spat them out, despite the fact that they've come in with a lot of sort of hope and a lot of gusto, and it's all stripped away. And yeah, so that's where that's kind of what the feeling is. And this is what Eric Cantona had to say, just on a different note, which is interesting. Eric Cantona, he talks about not being ready for Europe, but Spurs won the Europa League despite being 17th in the league, changed their manners, and deserve to beat PSG in the Super Cup. When your mentality is to lose, you always are a loser. Now, Ruben Amorim has been very honest. He's been very open with the fans. He has always considered us and spoke well, in my opinion. Yes, he might have maybe sometimes been too truthful, but as a fan, I'd prefer to hear the truth than some of the nonsense that we've heard in the past. Eric Cantona has gone in on him, calling him a loser, calling him someone who maybe isn't quite ready for the job yet. Ruben Amorim this is just, Eric Cantona is a legend of the club. Manchester United are going forward is, yeah, there's going to be more of this. The pylon is going to come, especially from the media companies. But this was another little bit of information that came out the other day, which also I wasn't very happy with. We can't even talking about this, but Bruno Fernandes is unlikely to leave Manchester United this summer, but would be open to a move after the 2026 World Cup. He would only consider leaving for Al Ittihad now if they offer more than 4 times his current salary. Oh, excuse me, yes. It was late at night. Bruno Fernandes wants to leave next year. Are you committed or are you not? Are you with us or are you not? You're the captain and you're kind of leading us to believe that this is your final year. I can't be doing with this. One of our best players over the last 5-6 years carried the can last year, even though he still had elements of the season that weren't very good. Has been brilliant over previous seasons. I can't be doing with this now. If he wants to go, go now. Go now. Let us suffer. Let us bring in some money and let's try and bring in a midfielder and a goalkeeper before this window runs out. Because I just don't want a player who's potentially just sitting around so he can get competitive football between now and the World Cup and then do a runner and leave us in the shit. Because that's, for me, what Bruno Fernandes is considering right now. And I don't like that consideration. I want someone, I want a player, he's either with us and he's going to stick to the end, he's going to fight to the end, or he's going to do one now and just get rid of him and bring the money in when he's still worth, quite a bit of money. That for me is kind of where we are with everything at the minute with Bruno Fernandes. I'm really annoyed at that. Yeah, he came on and he helped turn the game a little bit last night, but we are better with him in this team than we are without. And unfortunately, that was proven last night. But what does that say about the current climate of players? And what does that say about the current team? That we need Bruno Fernandes, someone who hasn't played well all this season, but we need him in the team to be remotely sort of functional. Absolutely scandalous that we are kind of relying on his output to try and constantly help us get across the line, because he hasn't, he's got other ambitions and they're not with Manchester United now. So for me, time to sell. 100 million, take it, let him get his salary up somewhere else, and then we can all move on from this element of the thing. He's not the problem, and I'm not saying he is the problem, and not one single player is not the problem. I don't think Ruben Amorim's the problem. Comes from the top and the Glazers. They're the biggest problem that we have. We can't get rid of the debt and all the problems that come along with that. That isn't the reason why we lost last night. Those professionals on the pitch should technically be better than League Two side, but yet fail to live up to that, which is absolutely annoying. Now, this is talking about the midfield. This is where we are with the midfield. And this was Laurie. Well, speaking about Baleba, I wouldn't say the deal is dead. They got to the point with him wanting to come. I would never write anything off, especially under this regime. I wouldn't say that it's likely, but I would say I wouldn't say it's a dead deal. Apologies, guys. My dyslexia kicks in a little bit there. Not the best at reading, but we went in for Baleba. We made some kind of contact. We found out the price or a ballpark figure, and then we didn't do anything about it. Now, do we go back in? Do you sell Bruno and you bring in a Baleba? I mean, I get it. It's a gamble. Would you do it? Would you bring in would you bring Baleba and get rid of Bruno Fernandes? Is that what you would do? Please, get your thoughts in, get your comments in below. I'd love to know what you think. I probably would at this stage, because as I said, there was an opportunity to sell Bruno earlier in the window, and that would have given us time to bring in players. Now we're really up against it. Are we actually going to get anything from this season? The season's a write-off now, so we might as well just sell Bruno, write the season off even further, and try and bring in someone in the late throws of this window, whether it be a Baleba, just go all in for him, try and make that work. But again, I feel for anyone who does come in, because it's going to be a tough transition for them. And this was another bit of news that came out. Casemiro has refused a proposal from El Nasser. His aim is for the World Cup, and he intends to run his contract down at Manchester United, and that's coming in from Gold, IBR and Simperasa. Yep, our club is just a club to be used. Yep, I just want to stay at Manchester United because I was given a stupid contract and I want to run it down. I will maybe go to Al Nassr whenever my contract runs out and get a big fee I will just use and abuse this club. Now, obviously, Casemiro didn't play last night, so he's got no dog in that fight. But yeah, it's really a shame that these players are doing what they're doing, and Casemiro is another one who just won't refuse to move on. We can't sell anyone. The board that again, that's on the board, regardless of whether they're difficult sales or they're hard players to get out of the club. I personally could not care less. I think they have a job to do, and they're pale well to get their job done. But they have failed in every turn. They've failed to sell players. They've failed to get rid of Garnacho. Because he just wants to go to Chelsea. Anthony just desperate for Real Betis. These are players that are holding the club to ransom. And we haven't been able to find a way to get them out. So I'm extremely annoyed and frustrated that those people, and they're part of a particular squad that people are calling. I'm not going to call them that because I think that's wrong. But they're players that need to be moved on. The money needs to be somehow brought in. Rasmus Højlund, unfortunately, is now part of that particular group. Actually, I think we had Rasmus last night. I'm not saying we would have scored, but he might have given us that little bit of something else up front. Sesko still hasn't found his feet yet. Yeah. It's just a real shame the way things are unfolding at the minute. And the final little bit of news is Sammy Lemons from Belgium, from Antwerp. Looks like we are back in form, according to Ben Jacobs. We are trying to get the deal done. Jesus Christ, do these people not realise that the window closes in a few days? My God, get it done before the Burnley game. So that means now, actually, we're on the Thursday. We probably won't have him in for the Burnley game. So we're back to Altay Bayinda. And all Burnley have to do is throw in a few crosses and watch us suffer. And they'll probably get a goal or two, and then we can't score enough goals to beat them. So buckle up, guys. The weekend is going to be another shit show and could be very, very difficult, especially if we don't start finding the net before our opponents do. Yeah, it's brutal. It's devastating. It's crippling. It's mind-bendingly brutal, and I just no idea where this club's going or how we're actually going to get through this particular fight. I don't know where we're going. We are rudderless, and we need minor miracles to turn the season around. And as I said, for me, if we lose against Burnley, the season's pretty much over. We're mid-table fodder if we're lucky. But anyway, thank you very much for listening to you guys. I shall leave it there, and I shall see you on the next one tomorrow.